Okay, it's now on YouTube. Um, so first question for today is I know we have been stuck inside and we're probably watching a lot of movies right now. And so my first question is what is your guys' favorite movie that you have seen while being stuck inside during this time of quarantine? What is your favorite movie that you've seen in the last week or week and a half? So maybe it's something you saw this week. Maybe it's something you've seen in the past couple weeks. What's been the best movie you have seen recently? For me, I would say as of right now, I haven't seen a ton of movies during this quarantine time, but one of my favorites that I've seen that kind of I don't know, it was just weird, but it was The Platform. It's on Netflix, and it's like a real kind of like mind boggler, kind of just weird movie, but pretty interesting and good. And so that was probably one of the best movies I've seen in the last couple days/weeks. Let's see what you guys think. So for those of you guys who are joining, we're talking about what's been our favorite movie over the last couple days or weeks. We've been stuck inside. We're probably watching a lot of movies right now. So what's been your favorite movie? Keegan on YouTube says Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I remember you talking about that. I have yet to see it. I think you said it was on Netflix, but then it got taken off. I can't remember. Let's see. Sarah says Jumanji 2. I want to see that real bad. And I think now what the movie theaters are doing are they're putting them on like Redbox and different websites now, I think, to where you can watch them. You can watch them at home because obviously we can't go to theaters. But I'll have to check into that. I really wanted to see that. Cam says his favorite movie that he's seen recently is Batman Begins. Great every time. That'll change. They were watching Dark Knight tonight. Yes, that Batman series is phenomenal. It's really good, and I love the first one. And it gets better with the next one. So good. So good. Caroline, what's up, Caroline? Says, I have been rewatching Disney movies on Disney Plus, and I love the last song in Jump In. Now, I think the last song, is that the Miley Cyrus one? I can't remember. And then I think, if I can remember right, Jump In, I can't remember what that one is actually, but I know what you're talking about. I've seen those on Disney Plus as well. Gabe, I believe Gabe says, talking about the Batman trilogy. It's a good trilogy. Gabe, what's your favorite movie that you've seen in the past couple days, weeks while being quarantined? Reagan says Misery. It's a weird, scary movie, which is kind of old, but I really liked it in Disney movies. I've never heard of Misery. What's that on? Is it on Netflix or Disney Plus or what's that on for those of us who haven't seen it? Owen says, haven't watched any movies, but I've been watching The Office. That's a solid TV series. You can watch The Office over and over again and not be bored. I love The Office. I'm there with you. Gabe says Onward. It was really good. I think I saw about that. That was the most recent Disney or Pixar movie that came out. I think I've heard a lot of good things about it. I do want to see that as well. Misery is on Netflix. Okay, gotcha. Misery is a Stephen King adaptation that I really want to watch. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard about it or seen it or anything like that. So I'll have to see what that's all about. Okay, Gabe says Onward is a Pixar movie. Keegan's watched that one too. It says it's really good. Cool, sweet. So yeah, if for those of you guys who are still kind of joining on, we're talking about movies. We've been watching a lot of movies probably during this time, or TV shows. So what is your guys' favorite movie or TV show that you guys have seen in the last couple days or weeks? Okay, yeah, Caroline says that the last song is the Miley Cyrus movie. Jump In is the one where they go to jump rope competitions. Oh, okay, yeah, I do remember that one. That one is the guy from what's it called? I can't remember. He's the guy with the kind of afro poofy hair. I think I know what you're talking about. And then Gabe says he also watched Rise of Skywalker yesterday. I've heard. I mean, I've seen it, but I've heard a lot of mixed reviews about it. Some people like it, some people don't. So you'll have to tell me what you think about it. Kaylee said, I just watched the last song last night. Pretty good. Yeah, that's been out for a while, though, I think, hasn't it? It's not a new movie, is it? Abby says she's the last song is really good, but her favorite show to watch right now is All American. I've heard a lot about that as well. All American, I think that's the football one. Yeah, I've heard about that one as well. Okay, this is Noah's from 2010. Christy says Rise of Skywalker is not very good. She gives it the thumbs down. Gabe says it was much better than The Last Jedi. So all right, we have some differing opinions on it. Emmy joined. What's up, Emmy? So we're talking about what our favorite movie is. We've seen a lot of movies probably the last couple of days, weeks. What's been your favorite movie or show that you've seen? And then Jason says he's been watching All American too. Okay. I've heard a lot of great things about it. I think I may have watched part of an episode or two, but I need to get on that. Cam says, I agree with both of those. I just stick to the original trilogy. That's every Star Wars buff kind of talks about just the first trilogy is the best and all the rest aren't that great from what it seems like. Gabe's kind of defending his view of the Rise of Skywalker over here on YouTube. And then Caroline says, I'm pretty sure Emmy has seen every movie to ever exist. I watched the Beach movie last night, or the Teen Beach movie last night. I have no clue what the Teen Beach movie is. Is that a Netflix thing or is that Disney Plus? I don't think I've heard of that one. Sarah said I've been watching High School Musical, the musical series. Okay, so that one's on Disney Plus, I think. I remember seeing that. Owen says he's not finding Misery on Netflix. I hope they didn't take it off. I'll have to look at it as well, see if it's still on there. Chris says that Addie has been having us watch Frozen. Pretty good. Anybody seen it? Great reviews. Yeah, Frozen 2's out as well. I've heard that's pretty good. You have to watch the second one now. Emmy says it's good. It's a Disney movie. Okay, gotcha. So Emmy, you're a big movie person as well, from what Caroline was saying. And then Reagan says that it's really good as well on Disney Plus. Okay, cool. Second, Cam says second one is decent. Okay, I've heard mixed reviews. I heard that one's pretty good as well. I haven't seen the second one. Mallory says Misery is still one of our favorite Stephen King classics. Okay, I'll have to check it out then. I haven't heard about it. My next question that I want to talk about is what makes a good movie or what makes a story good? Especially what makes a story or movie good enough to share with someone? When you watch something that's good, what makes it good enough to share with someone? Going back to YouTube, Gabe says that actually if you count the Clone Wars as one of the movies, then it would be the best. Oh wow, that's a bold statement. I'm kind of with you though. But yeah, so what makes a movie good? We love to watch movies. We love to talk about them. What makes it stick out? What makes it so where you want to share it with someone? For me, I think what makes a movie or story good for me is how it impacts me and how it makes me change my views on things, or how it maybe makes me think about things in a different way. I think it's called there's a 3 words: ethos, pathos, and logos. You used to learn in school. I think it's like ethos or pathos. It's like it's how it affects you emotionally and how it makes you want to change. And that's like for me, that's what makes a movie or a story good, is how it impacts me. It makes me want to change. Gabe says on YouTube that it's good writing. If the story isn't good, then the entire thing is bad. And yeah, that's true. If it's a movie script, it's not a good movie script, then it's going to be a terrible movie. It doesn't matter how good the acting may be. If it's a bad script, then it's going to be bad. You're not going to want to watch it. You're not going to want to read about it. You're not going to want to tell people. I definitely agree with you there, Gabe. And then Keegan says that the villain / antagonist shows the good guy going against all odds and accomplishing their goal is what makes a movie. So Pee-wee's Big Adventure shows this perfectly. I'll have to watch that one. I have no clue what you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it. Let's see what we got on Instagram. So good description of the characters as well as a developed storyline. Yeah, Reagan, that's a good one. With when characters have when characters develop throughout the movie, when you see them become something or do something that they're trying to achieve or trying to become, that makes a really good story. Then you said twisty endings. And yeah, I love movies when you think it's going one way and then it just takes a whole another direction. That's definitely definitely important in good movies or good books or good stories in general. Caroline says, if it makes you feel good emotions, like if it makes me laugh or cry, then I'll probably tell someone about it. Yeah, that's kind of, I'm with you on that page. Just like when there's a good story or good movie, when it makes me laugh a lot or it tugs at my emotions, then I want to tell someone about it. I want to tell someone how this movie or how this story impacted me. Definitely. Gabe is over here supporting Pee-wee's Adventure as well. Okay. I'm hearing a lot about Pee-wee's Adventure. Cam says, hold on, lost it. Cam says something that makes me emotional and is well written. So yeah, you're combining the good writing, kind of like what Gabe was saying, along with the emotions that it makes you feel. Definitely, I'm the same way. Megan says original and unique, and yeah, that's true. You don't, if you've seen a movie or read a book it's the same as something else. If it's similar, then it's not gonna you're not gonna want to tell people about it because it may be similar to another story. Like you have to have originality in it. It has to be different, something that sticks out. Like you said, something unique. So yeah, those are all great ways in which what makes a story good. Because there's certain stories, certain movies, certain shows that we watch and we don't want to tell anyone about. Like it's not very good, or maybe it's kind of like something else that you see in another movie. But when a movie is well written, when the characters are developed well, when it's original, when it's unique, when it sticks out, it tugs at your emotions, all those things play into a good story. And so my next question is that have you guys ever had a book or a movie that has caused you to change or do something differently? So for me, I talked about how, when I find a good movie, when I want to share a movie with someone or a book with someone, it's because it's changed me. It's because it's pulled at my emotions. It's affected me. It's made me really think about things. And so has there ever been a book for you guys or a movie that you have watched or something you've read that has made you want to change the way you do things or made you think about something differently, made you have a different perspective on things? I guess for me, I had something. Oh, yes. There's a book called The Power of a Positive Thinker, or Power of a Positive Leader, sorry, by John Gordon. And I read that book my senior year of college. And that book made me change my perspective on certain things. I started thinking about my actions and how I acted in certain situations, and I tried to be more positive about things, because when you realize when you're more positive about something, it can change the circumstances, it can change your perspective, it can change the outcome of everything. And being positive in every situation is really important. And so that was something for me. And then also when I was younger, we watched Space Jam this week on the Netflix party, and that movie made an impact on me when I was younger. I fell in love with Michael Jordan. I fell in love with basketball. I wanted to be in the NBA, and it made me really want to work at playing. And so those are some of the things, that have changed me, have made me want to do something differently. So what is it for you guys? What is a story, a movie, a book that has made you change your perspective or made you want to do something different or new? So Keegan says, a series of unfortunate events made me appreciate what I have in life since I'm going to butcher this because I haven't seen it. Baudelaires has nothing but misfortune and loss. I know I messed that up. My roommate watched that show. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But yeah, when something like this series of unfortunate events, when it makes you, like Keegan said, it makes him be more thankful for the things he has in life, not take things for granted maybe. When you see kind of the struggle, Baudelaires. I think I still might be wrong, but when you see something that someone else is going through, maybe like in this show, it allows you to have a different perspective and outlook on things. So yeah, that's good, Keegan. I like that. Let's see, on Instagram, Reagan says, yes, I do a lot of different devotion books, but Sadie Robertson wrote a book, and her words inspire me to invest in doing summer church camps and to open my heart to God, or more to God. And yeah, that's really true. That's awesome that you have something like that. When you read a book and it causes you to have a different outlook on maybe your relationship with God. And Sadie Robertson's awesome, and I know her words inspire a lot of people. So that's really cool that you had something like that. Yeah, what did you work at White Mills or something like that? What did you do for church camp? Or maybe you didn't work at it. Maybe you just went. Sorry. Mallory says, a book called How Not to Die empowered, knew, and showed me through scientific evidence the power I could have over my health through my diet. It changed my mindset on nutrition and really inspired me. Yeah, that's really neat. And when you read something that changes something physically, like you can do something new physically, is really important as well. Not just something that affects you inside and makes you change maybe your attitude or whatever, but when you can change something physical, that's really important too, and what makes a good story or book. So in The Office, oh yeah, I love this. Let's see how The Office impacted Cam. The whole Jim and Pam romance gave me new perspective on that kind of love. How Jim wants, for so long, the person he loves. Romantic love isn't always a quick thing, but for both people, and showed him wisdom in waiting. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can learn a lot of things from really anything. As long as you have a good perspective on things, you can learn something from just about any show or movie or book. And even something like The Office, you may not think about it, how it teaches us, because it's comedy, something to laugh at. But that's true. When you look at Jim and Pam and their relationship, it's cool to see how you can learn from something like that, and you can apply it to how you look at relationships. That's really cool. WindShape. Okay, Reagan, I've heard of that. WindShape. It's church camp that travels across the U.S., and I was a volunteer. That's super neat. That's really cool. Caroline says that I read a lot of dystopian society books, and those make you really thankful for how fortunate we are to have freedom and the ability to choose what and how we live our lives. Oh, okay. So books like Divergent and The Hunger Games. Yeah, those are really awesome books. And I think I can't remember. You guys might have to read those in school now or something. But that is true. Those books are made for us to think and kind of almost see an experiment of what it would be like if society was like this, and it kind of changed our perspective on society, changed our perspective on people, and um, how we engage with people and how and all that stuff. And so that's really cool that you could find and learn from something like that, like those books. That's really neat. And Brandon agrees with Cam. I love it. I love some good old jam or Pim. Um, let's see. Oh, and Gabe was saying Wally does that very well. Wally, yeah, like something like Wally, a Disney movie, which Disney and Pixar, I can't remember if whatever Disney and Pixar do a lot of do a really great job of having a deeper meaning in their movies. And when you go back and watch one of those movies like Wally, um, you can get you can see what they're trying to show you through that. You can see what they're trying to how they're trying to get you to change your perspective. That's really good as well. Kyle's joining. Kyle, we're talking about movies. What movie have you seen recently that you've liked, and how has how have you had a movie or a book change your perspective on life, on your relationship with God, really anything? How have you had a movie or a book or something change your perspective? Um, and so you can go ahead and answer that whenever you want. We're gonna move on to the next question. So we this week's lesson. Um, Kyle says, "What about video games? If you've had a video game change your life, I like to hear about that, or change your perspective on something. I guess go ahead." Um, so this week's lesson is about Easter. We're leading up to Easter. We have now a week left. Today's Palm Sunday. Next Sunday is Easter Sunday. And so our lesson was about Easter and about how Jesus, when he rose from the grave and he first appeared to Mary and the woman at the tomb, he said the first command he gives is go and tell, or go and share the good news with people. And not just certain people, not just exclusive groups, but with everyone and anyone. Share the good news with all people. And so we talked in the lesson about how we can do that through one act of love. And so we'll get to that one in a little bit. But kind of the first thing I brought up is that sometimes in the lesson, sometimes we tend to individualize things like Easter, and we do things with our family. We go to church with our family. We have family dinners. We have family Easter egg hunts, or whatever that may be. And my question is, why do you think that we sometimes individualize holidays and things like Easter? Why do you think we make it about just us? Because we realize that these things like Easter are not just supposed to be hidden for us, but it's supposed to be shared. It's supposed to be told to people. And so why do you think it is that we live in a culture that's so individualistic, that we're always trying to just do things for us, think about us, keep things to ourselves instead of sharing, instead of telling others, instead of doing things with others, doing dinners with other people? Why? My question is, why do we individualize Easter and just things in general? Why don't we live in a more people and group-driven culture? So let's see what you guys think of for that. Kyle says that video games helped me a lot through a lot of bad times, and I mean a lot. I think a lot of non-gamers underestimate that how impactful video games are. Also, me and the fam watch Onward. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I agree. If you can find something that can really impact you, a storyline, that's awesome. It's really just anything. And I have played some video games that have really just been great for me in different circumstances, and something that just allows me to get away and play. So I agree with you, Kyle. That can they can really have a big impact. Um, But yeah, answer this question. It's kind of a tough one, but why do we individualize stuff? Why do we make things only about us when we're supposed to share? We're supposed to, especially the story of Easter, we're supposed to be telling others, living life together, not exclusive. And so I'll just go ahead and kind of answer and get the ball rolling. I feel like in our culture, we make everything so individualistic about making your life better. How do you focus on you more? How can you get you time? How can it's all about you, and how do we focus on us? And so I think that since we live in a culture that's so us driven and just everything's about us, then it causes us to change the way we do a lot of other things. A lot of our holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, we make it to where it's only us. It's family still sometimes, but we don't include others. And so what is your guys' opinion on that? Keegan says that people nowadays tend to advance themselves in their own lives. They are helping others as a burden and don't want that on their shoulders. Also, a lot of people forget to include others when building their relationship with God. Yeah, that's really true. In our relationships or in building our relationship with God, we tend to forget to include others. We make it about just us. It's just me and my relationship with God. But when you see Scripture, when you see the early church, it was about a group of people. It was about the church as a whole, the town, the city, the church across the world. It wasn't just about one person in their relationship with God, although that's important. But it's about how do we unite as a people? Because the Bible talks about, it's all about unity. It's all about bringing others together. So I really like that, Keegan, because sometimes we think that helping others is a burden, or maybe it's a burden. We don't want to burden them, put more weight on their shoulders. And so, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Let's see what we got on Instagram. I feel like it has. Cam says, I feel like it has something to do with the media centered world we live in. We get so caught up in the bad stuff of the world that our view shifts to more of a survival mindset, and we just want to satisfy our own needs rather than help others. And yeah, that's definitely true about the survival mindset. We have this idea of, I've got to do what I need to do in order to live. I'm going to take care of my needs in order to survive and thrive. And in doing that, we're less focused about other people and the needs they have. That's a good answer. I like that. Caroline says that I feel like everyone has different ways of doing things and different beliefs / points of view, and we don't necessarily try hard enough to look past things like that. If we did, we could be together. And yeah, I agree with that as well. That that sometimes our beliefs and our points of views are just, again, so self-centered that we're not looking ahead and we're not doing things together. And especially it can be hard in a time like this when we can't really be out around people. And it's times like this where we really need to find ways in which we can not make everything so individualistic and make everything and not try to isolate ourselves, because we need to be together in a time like this. Maybe not physically, but spiritually. And then Camp says there's more reasons, but I feel like that has something to do with it. And yeah, the media always portrays life as all about you. So we live that way as well. Yeah, definitely agree. Reagan says we have a certain outlook on what we expect our lives to look like, and when others who might think different on certain things, it's hard to accept new ideas. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of going off what Caroline was saying that we live in a time where there's so many different viewpoints and so many different ways of doing things, that when someone does something different than us, then we don't want to accept that. We have a hard time still, loving people that are different than us, and so we tend to just it's just me and my beliefs. It's me and my family's, and we just keep it at that. That's a good answer. Kenzie says, I think society makes it difficult to share how we feel because it may be looked down upon, so that they make us closed off toward others. When in reality, we need to be able to let people God in. And yeah, that's true. I feel like we close ourselves off, and sometimes we don't want others to know our emotions and what we're going through, what we're dealing with, and so. But the Bible tells us that we need to constantly be in community with others, constantly being letting people know what's going on in our lives, so that we can help each other out, because we're not meant to do life alone, but we're meant to do life together. And then Kyle says, we live in a society that more focuses on their own agendas than others, I guess. Yeah, we definitely, it's definitely about what do I have to do today? What are my goals for the day, instead of asking others what's going on in their life, what are they doing? And I think those are great. I think those are great points as well. Cam said Joker. Is that from? I don't get it. Is that from the Joker movie? I don't know what you're saying there, but so yeah, those are all really good things. I think that we need to be careful about making Easter, making different things in life about us and individualized, and we need to be careful about shutting ourselves off from the world and really the church and us as a body of believers. Oh yeah, Cam says it's the moral of the movie. I haven't seen the Joker. But yeah, so I think it's important that we come together, and especially in a time like this where everything becomes isolated and becomes individualistic. We need to find ways in which we can make it to where we care more about others, where we're coming together, and I think that's important. And so my next and kind of our final question for the night is, I know you guys are creative, and so I want to just kind of wrestle with this question. What is one way that you can show love this week to someone? What is one way that we can share the good news of Jesus with someone this week? We talked about, we were just talking about how we need to make sure we're not becoming individualistic, but we need to be thinking more about others, to be doing life with others more. And we talked about in the lesson how that we believe we can share the good news of Jesus. We can go and tell people through maybe just one act of love. And I talked about how it's not, we don't necessarily need to, go out on the street corners and be like, you need to believe in Jesus. You need, like, Jesus did that. Like, we don't need to do that, but we can show people Jesus through loving the way that he loved us, and the way that he calls us to love others. And so I know that it can be hard maybe in this time that we're going through, being quarantined. It can be hard to find ways to maybe love others, because we can't physically be around people. But what do you guys think is ways that we can show the love of Jesus? We can go and tell people about the love of Jesus, and maybe it's not physically, but maybe it's spiritually. Maybe it's through some outlet of technology that we have. So what do you guys think? For me, I'll just go ahead and start it. I think it's important to maybe text someone. Text someone that you haven't texted in a while, a friend that you maybe haven't talked to in a while, someone that you can let them know, like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm just wanting to know what's going on in your life. What have you been up to recently? Just to let them know that you care for them. And so what is that? What is one thing that you can do maybe this week or during this time in which we can show and share the love of Jesus? So Kyle said, slide some verses in people's DMs. Yeah, get it, go slide into the DMs doing Bible verses. And yeah, and it can just be sharing with friends and families about people or about verses that maybe have impacted you. Maybe it's something in your reading in the Bible that stuck out to you, in which you just want to share with people. You can put it on your story, or maybe just send, like, I know there's a lot of accounts that post Bible verses. Maybe you can just share it and DM it to someone. That's true. Keegan said on Instagram to donate food or supplies to people in need. There are people out there struggling financially, and yeah, that's really true, because there's a lot of people right now who aren't working, who right now, since they can't go into work, they aren't able to make they aren't able to get the money they need, and so they're struggling financially to get some of the food and resources they need. And so during this time, it can be a great opportunity for you to go get groceries for someone. Maybe it's a neighbor or someone that you really know that they're in need, and that would be a great opportunity for you to show the love of Jesus by. Let them know that you're thinking about them and you're going to take care of the needs, because that's what Jesus tells us, is to take care of love our neighbors, and then I'm definitely a part of it. He says also doing community service for family and friends that are susceptible since they're stuck inside. Yeah, doing things for those people who are stuck inside, who can't go out, who are at risk. And so doing things for them would be a great opportunity to show and share the love of Jesus. Megan on Instagram says mailing cards to the elderly. And yeah, that is a really awesome thing to do. Cards are something that we don't normally use anymore. We don't normally send. It's normally a text or maybe a call to someone. But sending a card in the mail is something that can really have a huge impact on people. I remember when I was in college, I loved to get cards in the mail. It meant a lot to me, and I keep all the cards that I've ever gotten in the mail. And so sending cards to the elderly is really something that's important during this time, because especially for them, they're not able to get out. They're not able to go see people. And a lot of them are by themselves, or maybe their family members are away. And so they don't have a lot of people that they can see during this time. And finding ways to mail and give them letters, it could just have a huge impact and really show the love of Jesus to them. Brandon says the chalk thing. Yeah, the chalk thing, the showing hope, writing on your driveway, doing something on maybe the sidewalk or maybe the road, putting out some good news, something encouraging for people to see, is definitely a great way to show Jesus, to show a verse or something that can impact people is really awesome. And Gabe says we've been doing that kind of stuff too, which is really cool to see. I'm glad you guys are doing this. I'm glad you guys are putting stuff on your driveways or on the sidewalks, or maybe mailing letters. That's really awesome. Reagan says the chalk thing for the church, calling grandparents or family members and sending letters to friends. Yeah, again, just kind of enforcing. Those are awesome ways in which we can share that love of Christ through letting people know that we care for them, by putting out encouraging things for them to see is really cool. Cam says give people a way to laugh or smile during all this. Maybe it's a FaceTime call or a funny meme you send or something. Yeah, I love that. Like, just allowing someone and giving something to someone that they can laugh at. It can take their mind off of all that's been going on recently. Give them something to kind of ease them from all the uncertainty and all the struggles that we've been dealing with recently. Sending memes, I love just seeing a meme on Instagram or whatever it may be. It just kind of allows you to just laugh and kind of get your mind off things. And sending that to someone, it would be an awesome way to show that you love them and you're caring for them. That's really cool. Caroline says to reach out to someone who is going through something difficult and just tell them that you are there for them and that you are praying for them. And yeah, that is one of the best things you can do, is to text someone or reach out, call, give them a card to let them know that you're there for them, that you're gonna pray for them, that you're there if they need anything. That is a huge thing, because when you know that someone else has been thinking about you, when you know that someone else is praying for you, and they have you in mind, that can just be a huge blessing to them. And that can really impact people in a huge way. And so that is definitely a great way to show that love that Jesus tells us to share, by letting people know that we care for them and we're going to pray for them, and be with them through whatever difficult situation they might be going through. And then Owen says, calling your family members and contact them, checking to see if they're safe, and let them know that you're thinking of them. And yeah, that is a big thing as well. Like calling your grandpa, calling your grandma, whoever it may be, your cousins, and just letting them know that you're thinking of them is again a awesome way to show that love, to share that love. It's a really cool thing, because a lot of times, like I just said earlier, some of the elderly, they can't get out, they can't be around people, and so it's really cool when you do something like that, when you send them a text, when you call them, when you just ask, hey, how are things going? It's really cool to do something like that, because it brightens up their day. It makes their day so much better when they get a text or a call or something like that. And then Owen says your family every night is doing a Zoom call, since we can't get out, but we're still talking, socializing, and staying in touch, so we have the chance to see each other. And yeah, that is really cool. I love seeing all the Zoom calls. I love seeing all the different and unique ways that we can stay connected. That's super cool. I love that. And maybe it's even something like just giving people a smile. When you're out, when you're going to, if you have to go get groceries, or if you're on a walk and you pass someone, or someone's maybe driving by you in the car, just giving a smile and waving can make a huge impact. It can brighten people's days. It can change their day just by smiling. And it's something that doesn't take much effort out of us. It's something easy that we can do, but goes a long way. And so there's so many ways in which we can show that love of Jesus. And I think that it's really important during this time, because like we talked about, we tend to individualize and kind of isolate ourselves from society and from everything that's going on. We're staying indoors. We're staying away from people. But it's important throughout this time to stay connected and to show that love to people, to still share the good news of Jesus with people, because that's what this time is about. The time of Easter is to remember what Jesus did for us, and to share that good news that he is alive and that he is still Lord over all. He's still King of our lives, and he's still King of everything that's going on earth. No matter what virus or sickness is going on, he still rules over it. And so it's important to let people know that, to share that good news and that love with people around us. And so you guys have all put some awesome things in the chat, and I encourage you guys, don't just think of ways to show this love. Don't just think of ways to share Jesus, but actually do it. Put it into action. I want to encourage you guys. Some of us should send out cards to people, to elderly people, to send a text to a friend that you haven't talked to in a while, saying, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing? How can I pray for you?" To put an encouraging Bible verse on your Instagram or on some social media, or maybe just on your driveway, like the chalk we've been talking about. Putting out something encouraging. Doing Zoom calls with your family, talking to your grandparents, talking to friends who are maybe going through some hurt or some difficult times right now, and just letting them know that you care for them. These are all awesome ways in which we can show the love of Jesus. We can share the good news of Jesus with people around us. So those are great, awesome pieces of advice. And let's not just say these things, but let's do it. Let's put it into action. So thanks to everyone for joining on tonight. That was kind of the last question that we had. We're gonna pray real quick, and then we'll get out of here, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your Sunday afternoon. So let's pray real quick. God, we thank you for how much you love us. We thank you for the Easter story. We see a lot of movies, we hear a lot of stories, and they may be good, but there's none like the Easter story. We thank you for the powerful message, or the powerful word that we get in Scripture of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and how that event changes our lives forever. That we are children of you, God, and that we can all be changed. The message is for everyone, and we are called to share that message with the world. And to I believe that the way we do that is through the acts of love that we show people. And it may be hard during this time of isolation, but Lord, help us we need those acts of love now more than ever. So please help us to find ways in which we can share the good news of Jesus with others, that we can be a light, we can be an example, we can tell others that we care about them, we're thinking about them, and that we can just encourage and brighten someone's day. We love you, and we thank you for that power that's in us to do that and to give us that wisdom and guidance. We need you, and we need it right now. We love you and praise you, and I thank you for this awesome opportunity we still get to meet and talk. And I pray that this all kind of blows over quickly so we can get back together, because I miss all these guys, but I just thank you for this opportunity to still be able to meet right now. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a good Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and be on the lookout on social media, on Instagram. We may be doing a game night sometime this week, and so be on the lookout for that. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks, Reagan. So we'll see you guys. Have a good one. And then, all right, Gabe, get back to Animal Crossing on New Leaf on your Nintendo 3DS. All right, we'll see you, Gabe and Keegan. If I can figure out how to get this. Yeah, we're probably gonna have a game night, maybe sometime Wednesday night, and it's gonna be like a Zoom thing. We'll get more information on that soon. All right, adios.